Knob and tube wiring is probably the most common older system that you hear about. Knob and tube wiring is an older type of wiring that was used up even into the 40s and 50s. Primarily, it kind of stopped in the 30s. So think about that. If you had knob and tube wiring from the 30s, that's almost 90 years old. That's a long time for any component, but especially one that is susceptible to rodents chewing on it, to drying out and cracking, to insulation being added over it improperly, to being spliced into and improperly altered by newer wires. All those things can affect the viability of knob and tube wiring and the safety of it. And so those are extremely important issues. Getting a 2-story old house rewired is very expensive. I'm not an electrician. I don't set their prices. I know it's hard work. We've heard estimates ranging from $20,000 to $40,000, depending on how big the house is. So it's not something that you want to take lightly. Certainly, if you're renovating and gutting a house, good time to do that. If you're not planning on gutting the house, it's probably going to need almost gutted anyhow to get it all done and fixed up. So that's definitely one consideration. And then along with that, electrically, in an older houses didn't have near the electrical needs that modern houses have. They might have had a couple of kitchen appliances, and that's about it. A radio here and there. And so you would see in many rooms, you'll see one outlet in the room. Now, it's required that you have an outlet within 6 feet of any spot on the wall. So that frequently leads to 3 or 4 outlets per bedroom. Well, back in the day, they didn't have that. And so, do you want to upgrade? Do you want to live like they did in 1930? Well, that's your choice. But if you're buying an old house, that might be an option for you. Even if it's older, 50s or older even, maybe even into the early 60s, you have a lot of 2-hole ungrounded outlets. Well, that's because the older wires they ran had a hot and a neutral and did not include a ground wire with it. The only way to truly ground those is to run new wires. And so you're going to have to rewire the house or at least take some specific liberties from the electrical panel to a certain outlet in a certain room where you can just pop it up through one wall. You don't have to go horizontally through the walls to do the whole circuit. So either way, takes work, takes money, it's inconvenient. And so things to think about as you're going along.